Hi there, this is Alan, and welcome to my channel, I guess. So right now I'm working on a project where I will be making a giant mushroom hat for Halloween, because I am going as the shroom from Terraria. Some of you may know him as Trouble. Yeah, so I'm going to be making a giant mushroom hat for the first time, and I'll bring you along on my little journey. So right here is my boating, or my just base. We have duct tape and old boxes that I cut into a circular-ish shape that is a little bit bigger in the back since I split it open, so it'll rest easier on my neck and my back, as well as poking holes throughout the entire thing to add these wires to have it light up, which I think is pretty cool. And so with this white fabric, because it is white, it will show the golden lights, so that way I can have a kind of safety thing where people won't hit me because they'll see me, because I'll be lit up, as well as drawing out my shape of what I want to cut out. So that means I had to go find a pair of scissors. So I just finished cutting out the fabric for the underside of my mushroom head, and the next bit will be figuring out how to sew this to our top fabric that is right there. So at this point I start to cut out my fabrics around each other, making sure that the top piece is a little bit bigger so it can hang over the side, and just cut it out while trying not to cut up my floor. Around here I find a little cutting board so I don't have to use a piece of cardboard anymore. So this is how it looks without the stuffing. It's pretty big because, you know, it's going to be puffed up a lot. So yeah, that's how the top of it will look without the stuffing. But the next thing will be to attach these two, and then that'll be it. The next thing is to sew this all up, and then see how it fits on the big guy, and then add it with stuffing, and then put the zipper on. So that'll probably be the hardest part, but I mean, that'll be fun. I didn't expect the sewing to be too long, but I was greatly surprised, as I haven't hand sewn in about 3 years, and I don't have a sewing machine, so I have to do it by hand, which takes a little bit longer. As I was sewing up, I decided to watch some good shows to kind of just keep my mood up while I poke my fingers ever so often. Alright, so I finally finished sewing it all, and now we're flipping it inside out to see where all the pieces are and where they're going to fit up with the zipper that I attached right here. And then we are going to put this inside, as well as some pillow stuffing, which I have behind me. So I sewed it up, and it was nice and puffy. Then I decided to paint. So I finished up putting the paint on top of the fabric to make the little tiny mushroom spots. And I also put some lace around the edges just to make them look a little more crispy. And what I didn't expect was that the stuffing was going to go underneath of the hat, so it made it a little puffier on the under. But I should be able to shape it up once I get my head in there, and then put my string beads around so it doesn't all fluff into the bottom of it. Also, it's the next day. So to start off the day, I decided to cut off the little ribbon pieces that will be the wings of the mushroom. that will go underneath on the white side just to give it a little bit of texture. I decided to take different pieces of fabric that I had over from other cutting or other projects and just turn them into little strips, not even knowing how long they would be, just enough to give us a little bit of a raggedy look. Once I was done with working on that, I decided to go on and work on just touching up little pieces of places, just sew up little holes or rips that had happened throughout the night. So I'm going to be settling down for the rest of the night just so I can get enough sleep. And then I'll be back tomorrow with more fluff to help and bring up the top of it. Maybe even making a giant pillowcase so it's easier to contain the fluff. And make sure it doesn't go underneath. And then I'll sew that all up and then we'll be done. Oh God, oh no. I messed something up.
So that means I have to restart this entire thing, so I had to take out all the stuffing, the boning, and all the tulle off. Anyways.
I'm fucking sewing. So we re-stitched it and it looks really good, doesn't it? Yes, of course you're in the video. Look at you. But no, we fixed it up and it actually looks good and the zipper's more secure and I'm apparently very good.
So I decided to start sewing up a little pillowcase instead of having to like redesign the entire bottom, because that would have been very, very annoying. So instead I just took a little piece of fabric that I had from last... So instead I decided to take some leftover fabric from the bottom side of the mushroom hat and just sew it together into a pillowcase and then add all of my stuffing into that instead. I mean, it was a good idea.
It's done.
We decided to see what it would look like in the dark, and this is how it turned out.
Dance, whatever good it means. It means you lived a life of sin. Don't laugh at me.
The last real bits that we had to do were putting the tulle on.
So I finished the underside of my little mushroom cap with the little pieces of ribbon. I got 2 holes to put my chin strap through to make sure that it will sit comfortably on my head. And now all I have to do is the final fittings and maybe do a little bit of coffee staining or tea staining. So this is it. This is the end of our little mushroom adventure.